Hello and welcome. My name is Chris from ChristopherHole.com. Welcome to this video and welcome back to this little mini series that we are putting together. Today's video is all about physical stress and how it can impact on our health. And we're going to be looking at two parts of physical stress, which is exercise and which is recovery. And then we'll sort of bring them together and talk about health and fitness as a whole as we go through as well. But before we get into the main bulk of the video, please do come along to my social channels at Christopher Hole for Twitter, Christopher Hole Training for Facebook, and Christopher Hole on Instagram. Just go onto any of those, put into the search bar or type those into the search bar and you'll find me. Just follow and like. It'd be great to see you there, answer any of the questions that you may have. Alternatively, please do come along to the website, which is www.christopherhole.com/join, and sign up to the monthly newsletter, which is all themed. It's all video content, so it's more interactive than the words, which people can get bored of quite quickly. So it's all video content. We go through 5-6 videos per newsletter, so it's all based on a subject, and we cover a little bit more in the way of detail when it comes to the content or the theme that we are talking about. So back to today's video, where we are talking about how physical stress can impact on your health. Now, we looked at this diagram at the top here. So we have health in the middle, we have thinking, moving and eating around the outside. If we can get those into some degree of balance or harmony, if you will, we can get a better health. When they go into more of an imbalance, when we come out to here or here or here, we will experience, let's just say, ill health, if you will. That could be an injury or an illness or a disease or whatever it might be. So today's video is all about physical stress, and we're going to be talking about exercise, and we're going to be talking about recovery. Now, this can go for just physical activity in itself, but what we need to understand is it is just a physical stress. Now, a lot of people don't realize that exercise is a physical stress to the body. It is there to break your body down. It's the recovery that builds it back up again. So we have to get these into balance. If we do too much exercise and not enough recovery, we come out here and we get out of balance. And it's when we're out of balance that we get injuries, if you will. So too much exercise without adequate recovery increases our risk of injury. So if you can imagine, this seesaw is completely down on the exercise side and we're not doing any recovery. That's what I mean by an extreme balance. It's the fact that it's going from one end to the other. So you might do too much exercise, you get yourself injured. So then what happens is you go all the way to the other side and then you do lots and lots of recovery. So you're completely down on the recovery side. So you can see the seesaw is going from one side to the other, one side to the other. Exercise is all the way down because we're doing too much of it. And then exercise goes all the way up because we're doing all the recovery. So we've got to get these into balance. On the flip side of that, now I don't necessarily mean recovery, but if we do too much recovery, so if we're just lazy and we just sit on the sofa and we don't necessarily do anything with our physical body, then that also increases our risk of injury because our body doesn't become resilient to everyday life, if you will. We might not be that good at walking up and down stairs. If we trip and fall, we might be more at risk of brittle bones or just weaker bones in general. So we might break one more easily, so on and so forth. So being physically active, lifting weights, doing cardiovascular exercises, having some degree of impact through the body and load going through the body, that in a sense breaks it down. And then it's the recovery, so you're stretching, foam rolling, massage, nutrition and good sleep. It's that builds it back up. So it's that makes it resilient. Or what I should say, it's both of these together that make your body resilient. So when I talk about moderate balance, what I'm talking about is we start doing exercise, so it starts to go down. But then as we start to go down, we go, okay, that's enough exercise, we go on to the recovery side. So we then bring that back into balance. And then once we've done enough recovery, we go back over and do exercise. We go back over and do recovery. So this seesaw is only sort of moving, let's just say, halfway to a quarter of the way down, and then it goes back the other way. And then it goes back towards recovery, back towards exercise, back towards recovery. So it's always keeping that in balance whilst we are doing our physical activity, if you will, that we're then able to experience better health. Because it's when we get a balance of exercise and recovery, we reduce our risk of injury because our body is allowed to adapt to any stresses. Now again, I don't mean prevent injury, I do just mean reduce risk. Because what we're doing whilst we exercise and when we recover is we're just building a resilient body to be able to cope with the rigours of everyday life, so we can then go about without getting ourselves injured, without twisting a joint, without breaking a bone, whatever it may be. Now obviously if we have a traumatic injury, if we were in a car accident, then there's a good chance that we may well get injured. And that might be something that we can't train for. But just everyday life, where we might be, walking down some stairs, or we might trip over something, whatever it might be, that's the type of stuff that we can really work against. And it's getting the exercise and the recovery in balance that's going to help us build towards better health. Because too much exercise or too much recovery without the other one is going to bring us out of balance and increase our risk of injury, if you will. So how physical stress can impact your health is either in a good way, if we balance it with exercise and recovery, or it can have a negative effect if we are imbalanced between our exercise and our recovery, because it will increase our risk of injury. So hopefully that brings a little bit of a better insight into physical stress and how that impacts our health. So before we go, just please come along to my social channels, Twitter @ChristopherHole, Facebook, Christopher Hole Training, and Instagram, Christopher Hole. Or alternatively, come to the website, christopherhole.com/join, and please join the monthly newsletter. So many thanks for watching. My name is Chris from christopherhole.com. I'll speak to you in a future video.